Today our sermon is going to be on Creation is the Cure to Consumption. It's a chapter out of Fundamentals of Unicult, and if you would like to follow along in your book, you can do so on page 95. I'll read a little bit, and then we'll go into this. But the idea of creation and consumption is a duality, right? We think of them as the opposite. On one hand, you're creating something. On the other hand, you're consuming something. And we see it as, maybe you're eating or you're pooping or, these different experiences of taking information in and then putting information out. We see this as a separation. We see this as a duality, as two sides of a thing. And in our culture, really fundamentally as a culture, our Western culture or capitalist culture, whatever you want to call it, American culture that's been perpetuated across the world, the idea of consumerism really leads our lives. And we think of consumerism as the epitome of comfort. We think of consumerism as the epitome of wealth. If you have so many things around you that you can consume, that is abundance. But what if I were to tell you that that's only half of the story? That the other half of wealth is actually creation. In America especially, we've outsourced all of our labor. We've outsourced all of our manufacturing to places where it can be done cheaper, to places where it can be done more expertly or faster. And China has developed an entire culture around creating fast, cheap production. And the way that they have done that, like their society is, I don't know what it's like in China, I've never been there, but I'm assuming that they're more focused on the creation aspect than the consumer aspect. And they probably, because of the domination of American culture and of capitalist society, the desire to get to the place of being a consumer is always the glorified position, the glorified power. It's like, oh, I have to make the stuff, but if only I could just consume it and not make it. Again, that's simply something that is out of balance. You know what? My computer is going to die. I need to get my plug. I don't know how it lost its charge so fast. 1 second. Very unexpected. Oh, I grabbed the wrong charger. Hang on. Someday I'm gonna have a whole TV crew, and this will never happen. But right now we're living in the modern age. Okay, we're plugged in. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's look in our book and see what we've got written here. The modern world is focused almost entirely on consumption. The greed-based narrative of capitalism dictates that things must be created quickly and to meet consumer need. This is not the way that things have always been, nor is it the healthiest way for an advanced society to function. I'm writing a book right now, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to share it with you. It's called The Spiritual Approach to Emergent Technology, and it does talk about this concept a lot, the concept of progress. What does it mean to progress in society? What does it mean to actually have technological progress? We're very confused on this planet, and we get distracted really easily from truth. I don't know why, I don't know how, we don't need to go into that, but the reality is that we think of progress in a certain way that isn't really progress. And it's gotten to the point, I saw a TikTok the other day of a girl saying, I think it's enough. I think we've discovered enough. I think we've progressed enough. Do we need any more technology? And there's a lot of sentiment on TikTok of people just being like, we don't really need technology. We want to go to the forest and eat fruit and have sex and be bare naked. Like, why are we living this life of progress? And the revulsion of the idea of progress is only actually a revulsion of the idea of our modern conception of progress. And I can't stand up here and say that our progress isn't progress. Of course it's progress. As you exist, you're always progressing. There's literally no way that you can go backwards in progress. Every moment of your existence is different from the last. Every moment you're building and growing and learning new things. Progress is always happening. But there are favorable conditions for progress and there are unfavorable conditions for progress. And the best way I can describe this is that if you're out of alignment, your progress will be slowed down. Time isn't really real, time isn't really a good metric, but let's just say that the progress isn't ideal. It's not the best environment for progress to actually happen. So what am I talking about? The idea of progress, the idea of a societal or personal progress, of moving forward into a technological era of what? What are we reaching for? What are we hoping for? The dream of the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, and with minor variations, was to live a luxurious lifestyle. It was to obtain lots of goods and be in comfort and be a consumer without having to work very hard. Of course, we've got the American dream as this propaganda technique in order to get the slave class of the workers to be creating wealth for the elite, because the entire top-down power pyramid of the 1% and all the workers, we all have to buy into this idea that what's at the top of this top-down power pyramid is ideal. What's at the top of this top-down power pyramid? Luxury, wealth, not having to work, having lots of power because we have lots of money, getting other people to do things for us, etc. So our entire system is a top-down power pyramid where we have all been bamboozled to believe that what's at the top is what we should be striving for progress. But this is an illusion. This top-down power pyramid is a devastating bamboozlement of our creative and loving energy. Our spiritual leaders in this world are our celebrities. Who are our celebrities? We have people who are seen as exceptionally talented. We have people who are seen as billionaires. When we look at famous rappers, famous pop stars, famous billionaires, we see that they actually aren't creators. We think of them as creators, right? And they are. They're working very hard and they're probably doing actually quite a lot of creation. But when we think of them, we know that they have teams of people. No billionaire has ever gotten rich on their own, right? You have to have multiple companies with multiple people operating these companies in order to start accumulating wealth in that way. Or you have to be supporting companies, investing in companies that have the same situation. Billionaires do not create their own wealth. They're actually people who are positioned in a way that everyone has agreed to funnel money up in this structure that they sit atop. Celebrities and pop stars and rappers and these musicians are also the same. While they have a creative spirit, oftentimes we know they're not really writing the songs. They're not really creating the music. They're actually showing up and performing what other people have created. In a way, they are actually the consumers of the art before they actually give it to us to consume. So the idea of consumption, the idea of luxury, the idea of comfort, what does it mean to be comfortable? This is something that I learned on acid. What does it mean to be comfortable? Usually, when we think of comfort, I'm thinking of like mattress ads, like what's the epitome of comfort? And it's like to not feel the body. It's to be numb in the body and to be numb in the mind and to just basically not exist, right? It's this idea of like pillow softness so you don't feel anything. But I know in my life, as I've gone through different periods of being sedentary and active and not working out and working out, I can tell you without a hesitation that when I use my body, when I work out, when I work hard at cultivating a grounded, physical, embodied presence, I feel so much better than when I am able to just sleep for 14 hours or, not exercise or not think about anything. I used to be a very sedentary person. And our idea of comfort is that sedentary energy. This ideal, the ideal, I'm talking about what we look toward. This is our something higher. We look toward billionaires, we look toward pop stars, we look towards famous rappers, we look toward internet celebrities or whatever. And we're like, that's what I want to be like. That's what I want to accomplish. And so we try to be the consumers. We try to, on TikTok, it's very popular to talk about getting Botox or lip injections. These things are commodified beauty. It's just like the next level of makeup. I mean, makeup is an insane industry right now. The amount of makeup that the average person puts on their face now is incredibly high compared to what it used to be when I was growing up. And the idea of contour and primer and setting spray and fake eyelashes and Botox and lip injections, all of these things are commodities that we are trying to consume so that we can then be consumed. Okay? There's really not any creation. There's no true creative energy that exists in our world. So what I want to talk about is what is the ideal that we should be shooting for? What is true comfort? What is true creativity? What is the creative spirit that lives inside of us that we are actually repressing? The creative spirit is the other side of wealth that we haven't learned how to balance. To live in a harmonized society in the past, you would have somebody who built furniture. You would have somebody who cut down the trees. You would have somebody who built the furniture. They would be a craftsperson. They would put their heart and their soul into the art of building furniture that would serve the people of the town. And you would be able to go to the person who's building the furniture and be like, listen, this is how big my space is. I need my table to be this big. I want it to be decorated like this. Can you paint it this color? And they would be able to do that. And then other people would operate the bakery. It was a shared communal effort where each person found their creative spirit. When I started being afraid of zombies in 2010, I was like, I have to become self-sufficient. And I became obsessed with self-sufficiency because I felt like the zombie apocalypse was truly coming. Because I believe I think the entire consciousness, the entire zeitgeist of zombies was really tuning into the end times that we're currently living in now. And it was sort of a foreshadowing of that. But when I started to be worried about zombies and I started to focus on self-sufficiency, I started to say, I need to be able to grow my own food, make my own clothes, build my own furniture. And I started buying all these books and, doing all this research about how I could do all these things by myself. I've talked about this before, but the goal is not self-sufficiency. No one person is supposed to be able to do everything that they can to survive. Not even a family is supposed to be able to do all the things that you need to survive. The idea of self-sufficiency is an Americanized version of what should really be in existence, which is community sufficiency. We should be able to rely on one another's authentic creative spirit in order to create a harmonized society, in order to create a harmonized world. When we talk about comfort and we talk about, being embodied, that is actually true wealth. To feel the body. I'm not saying you should be, uncomfortable, but to be embodied should be our description of comfort. If you feel like you're capable of walking up a hill, if you feel like you're capable of, lifting a box or effectively throwing a ball, that should be the comfort. Because for us to try to escape the body is not true progress. Our body, we're embodied for a reason. And I've wanted to escape my body my whole life. I didn't want to be embodied. I hate this shit. Okay, you're not alone. But we are embodied, and it is kind of a magical, strange reality, and I think it's quite unusual when you take into consideration all the different experiences in the universe. Embodiment is a unique experience. Your body is part of your mind. Your body is part of your soul. The fact that you can think like, I'm going to raise my hand, and it raises, or the fact that you don't even have to think, I'm going to articulate my words, and you're articulating your words, shows the integration that your consciousness has with this physical form. As you allow yourself to be embodied and to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of this physical form, doing cross-lateral exercises, doing actual exercises, by spending time in meditation, being grounded and present, by aligning your physical energy or chakra system, by eating healthy, these healthy attempts at being comfortable in the body is actually comfort. So when you think about comfort, try to imagine, is it just sitting on a couch and eating chips and watching TV and trying not to feel the body? Or is it being embodied and enjoying your body? I think that's an important aspect of understanding creation and consumption. The greed-based narratives that exist on this planet have led us astray. If we could eliminate greed and trauma and fear and pain, we would have a utopian paradise. It's that simple. Anything that is motivated by money and money alone, physical reality alone, is missing the larger picture of the truth of reality, which is that our spiritual energy, our personal reality, our emotional energy, and our physical energy are all intertwined together into one glorious experience. For us to focus on any singular aspect of that glorious experience is to do a great disservice to ourselves and the world. The idea of moving quickly to meet consumer need is not the way that things have always been, nor is it the healthiest way for a society to function. Creativity is an essential component of the human spirit and experience. It is an aspect of spiritual expression that creates true abundance. Okay, when we're talking about depression and the feelings of separation that we have from one another, the feelings of separation that we have from nature, the feelings of separation that you have to your own body, that is because you are not actively in the spirit of creation. You are not actively in the spirit of glorifying your unique energy, your unique soul. When you create something, and this has to do with what I was talking about earlier with beauty, when you create something, you're infusing your consciousness into the world. If you're simply trying to mimic someone else's behavior, if you're only trying to mimic someone else's look, if you're trying to copy someone else's idea of success, you are not truly in the spirit of creation. True creation comes from your unique soul. All those ways that people said, you're weird. All those ways that people said, why are you like that? Stop doing that. I don't like, obviously, if you're doing something harmful, don't do that. But I'm saying all the ways that you were shut down for being different, that's your unique energy. And as you allow yourself to be different, as you allow yourself to truly embody your unique, uni-given, soul-driven purpose, and as you take that energy and infuse it into your creations, you are doing the work that you're supposed to do. You are literally feeding your soul, you are nourishing your soul, and you are simultaneously nourishing the world, because we're all one. And as you learn how to nourish your own soul through the balance of creation and consumption, you are giving us an opportunity to nourish our society, to give more space for individuals and unique energy to be expressed. Conformity kills. Conformity is so boring. We have the inherent instinctual desire and need to fit in to society so that we don't get abandoned by the herd, so we can fit into the tribe. This is instinctual biological stuff. But our society itself doesn't actually hold space for our true-hearted desires. Our society says everyone has to be the same, everyone has to be a worker, everyone has to go to a job, everyone has to think the same way, no one should have different opinions, everyone needs to look the same. Here's what's beautiful. If you're not this, then you're not beautiful. You better get some plastic surgery, or you better wear some makeup, or you better dress this way in order to reach this ideal of success. You better start a company, you better be an entrepreneur, you better work hard, you better pull yourself up by the bootstraps, whatever it is. This is the idea of monoculture. This is the idea of, in the fields, they plant rows and rows and rows of the same plant, and because it's easier for the machines to harvest. This is happening to our souls. This is happening to our own energy as we go about our day-to-day lives, as we fall victim to the idea that we need to conform in order to fit in. Unicult is here as a bright light. Unicult is here as a safe space. So we are holding the space for you to be your unique self, because we recognize and we know that your unique energy is that which creates Unitopian paradise for us all. Your ability to express your truth is our true abundance. Not only will it heal you to allow yourself to be who you really are, to glorify the ways in which your face or your body or your mind is different than other people. That is healing for you, that is healthy for you, and that will bring you great amounts of abundance, physical and non-physical. And as you go on the trajectory of ascension, to embody yourself in your own abundance, in your true abundance, you are affecting larger society. You are affecting me. You are affecting this world. You are creating a vibrational reality that allows us to live in true abundance. Much of modern depression and listlessness comes from the separation of the things we consume from the things we create. The focus on consumption separates us from our inherent human need to create. Consumption in itself is not evil. It is just as necessary as creation, but the separation of the two and the focus on consumption has caused a lot of problems and imbalances for us as a culture. In Unicult, we encourage our members to learn the process of creation for all the things they consume, as well as participating and engaging with the processes they are drawn to. So when we talk about self-sufficiency is the idea that you can create everything that you consume. Can you do that? No, probably not. But you should at least know how everything is made in your life. If you think that's a daunting task, then I understand. That just shows how far removed you are from the things that you are consuming. I don't know everything about how I consume. I wonder sometimes. I sometimes eat, granola and cereal. And it's like, how does that actually, I've seen the machines, but I don't really have a good understanding of the whole picture of how these things are actually made. Maybe someday I would like to go to a food manufacturing place. But then again, do I really want to do that? Or maybe I should just start learning about gardening and learning and going to the farmer's market. And that's a much easier way that I can be connected to the things that I'm consuming. And also, as I build that connection with what I'm consuming, either by gardening or going to a farmer's market, I'm building community, I'm building health, I'm actually eating foods that are truly nutritious for my body. How are cell phones made? Great question. How do we actually conceptualize of these things? There have been teams and teams of people working together to create the technologies that go into our cell phones and into our computers and into our technology. Can you understand the process of manufacturing? Look up like a video how it's made. And then, there's so many components that go into a cell phone. And, what is really crazy is a lot of the metals that are needed for these technologies are mined by slaves. And the technologies themselves are created by slaves. Is it good to spend all your time thinking about how all your stuff is created by slaves? No. But it's good to be aware of so you can make better decisions that are more aligned with your health. There is not currently a cell phone on the market that isn't made by slaves, and we all need cell phones pretty much, right? So that's a difficult situation for you to make a stand on. But at the same time, you have that idea in your mind, and you put the desire out into the world. In your heart, you say, I want technology that aligns with true health. I want technology that doesn't rely on stripping the earth of precious metals. I want technology that doesn't rely on slave labor. I want technology that truly benefits me as an individual. And as you align yourself with that awareness and that desire, you actually start building the bridge toward Unitopia. So you don't have to sit there and try to make your own cell phone. That's not what I'm saying. But the more awareness you have about the things that you consume and how it's working and how it's operating and how the algorithms are creating your feed and all the ways that TV has been programming your consciousness and all the food manufacturing and clothing manufacturing, it's a little overwhelming, but that just shows how far removed we are from the process of creation. Look, and then whatever you're drawn to creating, maybe you're drawn to something like, embroidery, maybe you're drawn to something like painting, maybe you're drawn to something like woodworking, maybe you're drawn to something like generating electricity out of the air, like Tesla. Whatever it is that you're drawn to create, then focus your energy on that. You don't have to be self-sufficient, but what does your unique energy draw you to so that you can become a part of a vibrant, harmonious community where we each provide the true creative endeavors of our own spirit? In Unicult, we create media for other people to consume. We create teachings for other people to learn from. There's lots of different ways that you can focus on creating. A beautiful attribute of this is that we can create anything we want, and that extends to our own reality, creating our own reality. It's okay to rely on a larger community. Just take an interest in how all things are made and then create whatever your true heart desires to make. All members are encouraged to create their own reality with a conscious focus on the whims of their heart and an awareness of their own thoughts. The whims of your heart. The whims of your heart. What do you wish you could make? What do you wish you could create? Unicult is here to support you in that. Thank you. Thank you for joining me for this beautiful sermon. Let's do our closing prayer. Yeah, art, the thing is that all creation is art. When they build a house without art, when they build a building without infusing it with unique spirit, that is a crime. It's honestly a crime. And the souls of people who live in houses without soul get stripped of their vitality. The houses that are infused with creative energy and art actually can nourish your soul. And that's true with all things. As we have mass-produced physical items, we have lost our creative spirit. Spirit of Uni, we call you here today to this beautiful Sunday morning chat room where we are learning about ourselves. We are learning about our connection to that which we create. We are calling in the highest energy into our bodies, our minds, our soul, and our spirits. We are praying for abundance for all. We are praying that we get Uniacres soon. We are praying that every person has a wonderful, beautiful day today, doing all the things that they set out to do. And we pray that all the people who are looking for Unicult find it and join so that we can all work together to create a brighter and more hopeful future for us all. Blessings to all in these miraculous times. Uni bless. Go ahead and go over to the Discord server where we have Sunday Uni Brunch. You can go chat with other Unicult members. If you're a new member, this is a great way to be introduced to the community. If you have any questions about the calendar or how the Discord server works, if you have never used Discord before, it can be really overwhelming in a busy server. So we're here to help. And I hope that you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Join Unicult. Thank you. Uni bless.